All right, welcome back into Rothman and Ice. What a thrill this is on a Gold Jacket Thursday here on The Fan. And you go back in history, for a lot of you young people, you'll want to listen up. Open your ears, because this man was the very first Kansas City Chief to be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Played in the first Super Bowl, then won it, came back, beat my Vikes in Super Bowl IV, Hall of Fame class of 83 after a dozen remarkable seasons in Kansas City. He is the outside linebacker, Bobby Bell. Good to have you, Bobby.
Hey, it's good to be here.
You're back in football heaven.
I want to know who your favorite team.
You know, I grew up a Purple People Eaters guy. I'm originally, you knew that. I grew up with those Alan Page and Matt Blair and all those guys, and obviously, running around wanting to be Fran Tarkenton and scramble. Although I probably wouldn't be able to get away from you. But that was the team, and as long as you mention it, let's go right there. You guys were a massive underdog against my Vikes. Joe Kapp was the quarterback, not Fran Tarkenton. But Hank Stram had you guys believing. Why did you think, and why were you able to just pound my Vikings in Super Bowl IV?
Well, this thing, we was a wild. Well, hey, we wasn't even supposed to be there.
Right.
Wild card. We don't have a chance. And I know the people, the Vikings, they kind of say, well, listen, we're just going to walk in there and knock them over and take the game. But going to get there. We had to play the Joe Namath and them at the New York, and they said no way. Then we had to go out and play Oakland and come there. I mean, we weren't supposed to be there. That year, Lenny Dawson did not play in 7 games. I mean, That year, Mike Livingston was a quarterback, and everybody was underdog. But we felt that we had the best defensive team in the country.
Man,
we had the best defense. In the last 7 games, a team scored just maybe 1 touchdown or none on us, and we was in the game. We scored more touchdowns than the offense was, but we were in there. I tell you a story. At the Super Bowl, Lenny Dawson came in the defensive room, said, "Hey guys, what do you think? How you think we're going to do?" And we just told him, said, Lenny, we don't think they can score a touchdown on us. Lenny said, what? He walked out and said, okay. And that's how we approached the game. There's no way. Because we felt we were stronger than the Viking was, and we went out on the field. I think we let them score a touchdown in the last quarter of the game.
Yeah, you handled him.
Oh, yeah, Joe Kapp, I got to meet him 6 months later, He said he'd never been physical, beat like that before. Because he wouldn't talk to a lot of people after that. And Coach Stram, we did some things that they had never seen before. We had a triple stack, we did different moves on defense. They couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I became a good friend with Bill Brown, though.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, listen, you were as respected as anybody that played the game, and you guys didn't have that cool little nickname I dropped, the Purple People Eaters. You guys just went out there and handled business. But I think it's very interesting now, and you're part of the residency program coming back to Canton. It's been more than 40 years since your enshrinement. How does Canton look and feel to you now?
Well, I see more people. When I was up here, they had about 8 people up here in the office. Now they got about 70. Everything got bigger. Things have changed. When I came here, I've been coming back every year, and we had the ceremony out there on the steps. I just enjoy coming back because I get an opportunity to meet other football players and Hall of Famers. Because the first 10 years I was coming back, they didn't have maybe 5 or 6 Hall of Famers coming in besides the one that's going in, And now I think last year we had 100 and some Hall of Fame that came in. And last year was my 40 years coming back. So I love it. I got a chance to meet a lot of people and got to know a lot of people, got a lot of friends here.
That's fantastic. We mentioned the Super Bowl early on. I believe you lost the Super Bowl to Bart Starr, and then you came back a couple years later when you beat the Vikes. But you mentioned you beat Joe Namath and the Jets along the way. Who do you consider the most dangerous quarterback you ever faced when you went into a game, who you felt you had to prepare the most for?
Joe Namath.
Broadway Joe, huh?
The way he played, you know. I mean, the determination, you know. Joe, I mean, he was there. I mean, he likes to play. He likes to win, you know. And I think Joe Namath is one I picked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I got a chance to play.
I found it very interesting. So in the early 60s, I read that KC was so convinced you were going to go to the NFL and sign with my Vikes, so they didn't even bother selecting you until the 7th round of the 63 draft. But you wind up going to KC. Give me that story.
Well, okay. The Vikings, I played for the University of Minnesota, so I think the Vikings drafted me in the second or third round. Third round. So everybody did think I was going because I played there. We won the national champ, Big Ten, all that stuff. They said, well, everybody wanted me to stay with the Vikings. But Lamar Hunt came up in Minnesota because I think the Minnesota Vikings was supposed to be with Lamar and them organization, and they told him the last 2 weeks out or something. You know, they couldn't. They were going with the NFL. I think that upset Lamar, and he came up to Minnesota to visit with me. And I never had an opportunity to talk to Lamar, Coach Stram, or nobody in the organization but Lamar. He came up there, and he was determined to let me go, take him. He's going to take me. I don't care what it's going to cost. And that's what happened, you know. I ended up going to Lamar because the Vikings did not give me the kind of contract that I wanted, you know. And that was in 1963, 62.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you look back on them years, you know, that the NFL didn't have that many blacks on their teams at all.
But
they didn't have probably more than 2 or 3 on each team. Some teams didn't have not one, you know. I know Bobby Mitchell, I went in the hall with him. He was the first black player to play for Washington.
Wow.
You know, so
what a time. Lamar Hunt was huge in your life. Founded the AFL and created the team.
Hey, the best thing I think that happened to the NFL is that Lamar Hunt started the AFL. They gave them some contact and a lot of leeway there. But Lamar